The 76ers of the late 70s were a star-studded team that seemed to have trouble meshing as a unit.
I would say more than half of that team wanted to be the star, or thought that they were the star. The egos were scary, and you can't win that way.
After a disappointing loss in the 77 finals, the Sixers began to search for a floor leader that could bring the team together. It would lead them to West Texas State University, which had embarked on a search of its own several years earlier.
My assistant watched a lot of Chicago public high school games, and one of the top players was a guy by the name of William Dice. We asked him to visit, but he would not visit, or said he wouldn't, unless he brought along his friend, which we didn't know anything about. His friend happened to be Maurice.
Cheeks blossomed at West Texas State, earning all-conference honors 3 years in a row. After being selected by Philadelphia in the second round of the '78 draft, many wondered how his quiet demeanor would blend in with the team's boisterous personalities.
I remember Maurice Cheeks first came into the league. Matter of fact, I let him stay at my house a few times. Maurice Cheeks had an afro so big you couldn't get it all in the picture. And Henry Pippen used to tease him all the time because he didn't have a jump shot.
I came to camp and I was actually waiting on someone to tell me I was cut, because we just had a lot of big-name guys at the time, and I just never really thought I had a chance.
Not only did Cheeks make the team, he was named the starting point guard, and his team-oriented style soon began to rub off on the Sixers, transforming the team into a more unselfish unit.
Great pass, Cheeks.
Once we got Maurice Cheeks, that was an absolute freedom, for me, because he looked to pass first rather than shoot first.
Here's a 2-on-2 break. Cheeks, Julius, and Cheeks created it all.
He made his decisions before guys were open. The ball was already in the air before the guy came off the pick, so when he was open, the ball got into his hands before the defensive man had time to recover. And very few ball players have that knack.
Bring it down into the corner. Force the defense to do something.
Every coach needs an extension on the floor, and Mo was exactly that for Billy Cunningham. He was intuitive about the game. He had a real high level of understanding.
I remember as a young reporter telling my son, if you want to learn the game, watch Maurice Cheeks. You can enjoy Dr. J. You can't do what he does. You can learn to do the things that Maurice does. You can learn to do the basics.
Oh, rush it in time. What a beautiful pass by Mo Cheeks.
With Cheeks in charge, the Sixers returned to the NBA Finals 3 times in 4 years in the early 80s, and in 1983 they steamrolled through the playoffs with a 12-1 record, culminating with their crowning achievement, a 4-game sweep of the Lakers.
The Philadelphia 76ers, Maurice Cheeks, quiet, no, they're going to be the one champions, folks.
We had a great team. Moses, Doc, Andrew, Tony, Bobby Jones. We had a great nucleus for winning that championship.
What I thought was intriguing, for all the leadership qualities he possessed, he was silent about it. He was not a rah-rah guy. He was all about getting everybody involved in the offense and then biting you at the right time.
And there's a steal by Cheeks.
Cheeks didn't just orchestrate the Sixers' offense, he was crafty and calculating on defense as well, making the NBA's all-defensive team 4 times.
Terry doing what he does best, picking someone's pocket.
My rookie year, I remember the first time I played against Maurice, and I remember watching him. I used to say, oh, he's not that great of a defensive player. And the first 2 quarters, it seemed like he was almost letting me bring the ball up, but he was getting closer, and he was intensifying the pressure each quarter. Then by the 3rd quarter, he was everywhere I was at, he was at. In the 4th quarter, I thought he was inside of me.
And a steal by Cheeks. Don't keep your eye away from Maurice Cheeks. That's the moral.
At the crunch time of a game, he's always seemed to be able to come up with the definitive defensive play to turn the game. He almost came to expect it on a nightly basis.
Intercepted by Cheeks. Jaminski back. Cheeks dunks it.
But after consistently being title contenders, the Sixers began to fade in the late 80s, falling victim to age and injuries. One by one, their stars departed, and in 1989, it was Mo's turn as he was traded to San Antonio.
It was pretty much a shock. You know, it's something, it's just like bad news, man. You know, I don't.
But as a consummate professional, he set aside his disappointment and devoted himself to being a mentor to younger players.
I can remember him coming to the Nets to sort of advise others, and that's the respect I think everybody in the league had for him.
As a coach, Maurice has tried to instill some of the values he displayed in his career as a 76er.
I knew the game, and I knew I could teach part of the game to other people and other players, and that's what I wanted to do.